I'm Christina Onnested. German authorities say a gunman stormed a service at his former Jehovah's Witness congregation in Hamburg, killing 6 people before taking his own life after police arrived. They gave no motive for Thursday night's attack in Germany's second largest city, but acknowledged they'd received an anonymous tip, which claimed the man showed anger towards religious groups and might be psychologically unfit to own a gun. 8 people were wounded, including a woman who lost her child. Chancellor Olaf Scholz says the death toll could rise. In the U.S., President Joe Biden unveiled his 2024 budget proposal yesterday, with plans to slash the federal deficit and boost social programs and military spending. Christopher Martinez has more.
Show me your budget. I will tell you what you value. Well, folks, let me tell you what I value with the budget I'm releasing today. I value everyone having an even shot.
President Joe Biden's spending plan totals $6.8 trillion. He says it would protect and expand vital services, boost military spending, and cut the federal deficit by $3 trillion over the next 10 years. On the other side of the ledger, it would hike taxes on the rich, in particular corporations and billionaires. Biden says the number of billionaires has gone up from 650 when he was elected to now more than 1,000.
You know what the average tax they pay, federal tax? 3%. No billionaire should be paying a lower tax than somebody working as a school teacher or a firefighter or any of you in this room.
Biden's budget would restore the child tax credit that was part of the American Rescue Plan but later expired. Given spending proposals like that, plus the taxes on the rich, Biden's budget is not likely to sail through the Republican-majority House of Representatives. I'm Christopher Martinez.
The CEO of Norfolk Southern, the nation's largest railroad company, apologized at a Senate committee hearing for last month's fiery toxic train derailment where millions of gallons of toxic chemicals were dispersed. But he refused to endorse a bipartisan bill that would toughen safety rules. Eileen Alfandary reports.
A bipartisan bill by Ohio's 2 senators, Democrat Sherrod Brown and Republican J.D. Vance, would require railroads to create disaster plans and tell emergency response commissions what hazardous materials are going through their states. The bill also would require train crews to continue to have 2 people instead of just 1, as the industry has been pushing. Brown noted the rail industry has successfully fought tougher safety rules for years.
Lobbyists for the rail companies have spent years fighting every effort to strengthen rules to make our trains and our rail lines safer. Now Ohioans are paying the price.
The railroad and other companies successfully killed a proposal that would have required rail cars carrying hazardous flammable materials to be equipped with electronic braking systems, which could stop trains more quickly than the current braking system. California Senator Alex Padilla pointed to another safety concern. He said the amount of time a carman is given to inspect a rail car to be sure it's fit to go back onto the rails has been reduced by 2/3.
60 seconds. Do you know how long it takes to walk the perimeter? Does that leave enough time for an actual thorough inspection?
Newly elected Trump-backed Ohio Republican Senator J.D. Vance called out members of his own Republican Party who oppose the bipartisan safety legislation he has co-authored.
Do we do the bidding of a massive industry that is in bed with big government, or do we do the bidding of the people who elected us to the Senate and to the Congress in the first place?
I'm Eileen Alfandary.
Iran and Saudi Arabia have agreed to reestablish diplomatic relations and reopen embassies after years of tensions. The 2 countries released a joint statement about the deal today with China, which apparently brokered the agreement. Tensions have been high between Iran and Saudi Arabia. The kingdom broke off ties with Iran in 2016 after protesters invaded Saudi diplomatic posts there. Saudi Arabia had executed a prominent Shia cleric days earlier, triggering the protests. Former President Donald Trump has been invited to testify next week before a New York grand jury that has been investigating hush money payments made on his behalf during his 2016 presidential campaign to a porn star he allegedly had an affair with. That's according to one of his lawyers. Such an invitation often indicates a decision on indictments is near. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office declined to comment. Any indictment would mark the first time any former U.S. president has been charged with a crime. Trump attorney says a case would have no legal basis. It comes amidst his 2024 Republican presidential bid. A letter claiming to be from the Mexican drug cartel blamed for abducting 4 Americans and killing 2 of them condemned the violence and says the gang turned its own members who were responsible over to authorities. The letter from the Scorpions factions of the Gulf Cartel apologized to the residents of Matamoros, where the Americans were kidnapped, the Mexican woman who died in the cartel shootout, and the 4 Americans and their families. Drug cartels have been known to issue communiques to intimidate rivals and authorities, but also at times like these to do public relations work to try to smooth over situations that could affect their business. Earlier this week, South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham introduced legislation that would allow the U.S. military to respond to drug cartels at the border. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.